informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums. Yes. Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why. Yeah. You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
Good afternoon, folks, and we are here with another edition of Sunset on Plus. And from us here on Plus, we would like to say to all our Muslim brothers and sisters today, Ramadan Mubarak. Right? Today we are celebrating Ramadan, right? And I'm here with my lovely co-host, and it is fortunate that I have her here to myself today. So there'll be no bickering. There'll be no fighting, right? It will just be two lovely people conversing on different topics today with your lovely smile. How are you, Ms. Camille?
I'm good, Jevon. I'm doing well.
Right. So yes. We are celebrating Ramadan. Mm-hmm. Right. So, you know, we have this whole list of facts about Ramadan. What for you personally, before we go into what Ramadan really is, you know, what is
my take on it? I would look at it as a time of fasting and introspection, right? Once you're a devout Muslim and you're following those tenets of the Quran, you know, this is the time for you to really, you know, get in touch with your spiritual side.
Right. Okay. Well, if for you all who don't know, right? A lot of people, they might celebrate Ramadan, they might hear about Ramadan, but they don't understand the real historical importance of what Ramadan is, right? So Ramadan is actually one of the most important months in the Islamic calendar. It is actually the month where the Muslim belief was the first verses of the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, yeah, right? And during Ramadan, Muslims around the world fast from sunset. So sunrise to sunset. Now, that might vary from climate to climate because, you know, we have the Americas where the sun rise at particular hours and set at particular hours, you know, stuff like that, right? And, you know, what are some of the things that the people who they practice, you know, or they...
Once you're devout,
yes.
I know they
abstain from. Yes.
Abstaining from food is one. They try to live pure and honest, so there's no drinking. They're not supposed to have any fighting with your brethren. other things physical, they abstain from certain physical
But when you say
affection.
physical,
Jevon, why I felt you was going to press me?
because I mean, when you say so, they have to abstain from sex.
Yes.
Okay. all
Once
right,
they're a devout,
and you say
Muslim.
you just mentioned no
there's no alcohol.
no alcohol.
The abstinence from food once they're
food,
fasting.
right? Well, obviously.
Right? And again, I read somewhere about the lying.
The lying and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So they
yeah.
have to focus their mental into a full positive, right? And obviously they abstain from the physical,
Yes.
right? And despite how much I would want to, I'm going to stay away from that. Because I have a question, right? So
Oh dear.
the fasting is from sunrise to
Nice.
sunset.
Yes.
I don't want to put a time frame to it, but it's from sunrise to sunset. So my question is, during the darkened hours,
Oh dear.
right? Could I?
I feel I need to ask a devout Muslim about that.
You'll need to get one who's willing to come on the
Yes.
show and
And give their viewpoints, right?
But we also know that we are in Trinidad and we are
Cultural.
You
don't wanna use
I think this is more
multicultural,
multicultural, multi-religious. Right. So no, we celebrate. As Trinidadians, we celebrate everything else.
Everything,
And
correct.
watch where this country is one of the best countries because watch where, whether or not you're partaking, you're getting a holiday.
That's correct.
Right? So, but that being said, there are some people who actually, they partake in it for the fasting aspect.
Right.
Right? That they use it and they use the principle behind it to probably lose weight.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
to help themselves with certain medical issues that may have. Now knowing that this is a time where for the Muslim society they're supposed to be selfless, right? And I know you are not a Muslim, I am not a Muslim, right? But just, thinking about it, right? Would you think that this is something that might be right, seeing that it's supposed to be a selfless, time for these.
Sort of.
So the mere fact that you partaking in it, but for what quote unquote selfish purpose.
I don't see it as being selfish in the sense that if it's getting you in touch with your spiritual side. So it can't just be, okay, I'm dieting for dieting's sake. Right? Because if you look at fasting, on the whole, it's supposed to give you that closer relationship with your creator. If we look at it from that standpoint. All right. So some people may have the intention that I'm gonna diet, but it could bring a positive.
And to the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the US world, right, I want you to understand, I am not attacking any particular people who choose to diet, but what I will say is that there's a big significance between fasting and dieting.
Yes.
Right? When you diet for a personal gain. When you fast, a fasting is giving of yourself for whether it be spiritual or,
Or for more clarity.
Right.
Because there's such a thing as
Exactly.
intermittent fasting. And people who have done it, now that's not me. I can't speak to that. I love food too much. But for those who actually do the intermittent, they do say their thoughts, they seem to be a lot clearer. They're more focused.
Right.
All right. And yes, they may shed some pounds in the process, but for them it's more that focus and clarity.
Okay.
That they do that intermittent
Well,
fasting.
what I would say, my take on it is that, and I will go back to my earlier days where I would have gone into things might be initially for the wrong purposes. Right? And I will talk plain. I went to church for girl already.
Oh dear.
Right? I mean, come on. It is what it is. You understand? You see a nice girl walking on the road, right? You know the Trinity slang, family. Yeah, you're looking good, and whatever it is, you know.
Right.
And then she tell you, you know, well, I in church, right? If you want to be around me, I don't join in church. And I would have done that, but in the process of doing that, I learned, right? And my whole mentality changed. Right? Where is that? A lot of times, after a couple of months, I wasn't there no longer for the year.
Girl and them.
But I was there because of the message. So, for me, if this is something similar where people could probably partake, right? Yes, they may start as their own personal, for the personal gain, but by practicing, once they practice and they follow the guidelines,
I could see
and
it being
they get
something
positive out of it,
Correct.
I'm totally for it, right? You know, so some of these people, you know, I mean, it is the whole fasting aspect. Let me talk about the fasting aspect. I mean, it helps reduce blood sugar, which we all know is a big thing in Trinidad.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I know a lot of people that lose their legs, lose their limbs, right? And I'm not too sure if it is something that is talked about on a more wide scale, but sugar, high blood sugar is something that is prevalent not only in Trinidad, but in the Caribbean. Because, come on, like you said, you love to eat. We love to eat, you know?
We just have to be more mindful of the foods we're intaking then.
And another good thing that comes out from it is that because you're not eating during the day, because remember you're fasting from sunrise to sunset, right? You are encouraged to consume more water. And we all know the more water in your body, it helps to flush out the toxins, you know, stuff like that, you know?
That is true. You know? So we know about eliminating bad fats from your diets, taking in more nutrient-dense foods. So you know that's all your greens and whatnots. Staying away from the desserts. Again, this might be hard for some people, especially if you have a sweet tooth like mine. So I can see that being, that will be an issue.
Well, you see, with me, the first thing was the alcohol. I mean, it's a Trini, so,
right? Again, drinking lots of water, very important. And then just lessening your meat intake. So again, just trying to have a more healthy, balanced diet. That's the positive outcome. But like you said, the fasting originally, that is still, like I said, have a much closer relationship and with your creator and to have that personal introspection.
Right. Right. And I like how you brought that. So what I would like to ask is that, wouldn't you say there's a connection with learning how to control your physical body, right? And there's something tied in with learning to control yourself, right? That actually leads you to be more connected with that whole spiritual aspect, right? Because I mean, if it is by learning to control yourself, controlling the physical, it open up that gateway, that door. I don't want to say, but some people say the third eye, other people like to use the third eye. Right? If by doing these things, by abstaining, right, from your urges, because hunger is an urge. Despite it's a necessity, it's an urge, right? Right, these guys, right? But we'll come back to that, and unfortunately, we have to go to a break, right? And we'll be back here on Plus. Remember, folks, every afternoon we are here from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. and we try to bring different topics that we can discuss. We'll be back.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums. Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You know, you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
Good afternoon, folks, and we are back again. I'm your host, Jevon Joseph, and with me, my lovely, and I had to keep expressing how lovely this young lady is in both looks and ways. Is Miss Camille Moore.
Thank you, Jevon.
And our next topic we would like to speak on a little bit is Miss World
Yes.
TNT.
Yes, we definitely want to congratulate Miss Ashe Abrams.
Yes.
She didn't bring home the crown, but she came fourth place.
Represented well.
She represented well. No, I didn't see the entire pageant, but I did see clips of her speech, and I found she had that poise. She answered the question with, with grace. It was well said and presented. So obviously I was biased. I thought she was going to win based on, but she came in fourth. She did as well.
And what I must say, her being placed in the top 5, that was
that's a victory for us.
And just a hint, right, or a pointer, the last time that Trinidad, actually the only time that Trinidad actually won Miss World was in 1986 with Miss Giselle.
Laurent West, yes. Right, so we really thought she was going to take it home, but I think she held her ground and she represented us splendidly. So I have nothing negative to say about that. But I have heard some controversy. There is always a but. I am still trying to wrap my head around the 4 different titles and why is there a split between the Americas. Well, that's just it.
I from the last I heard, I think it's 6.
Right, and I thought the title, the pageant itself is Miss World.
Exactly.
Not Miss Americas and Caribbean, Asia, Africa, Europe. Like, really? We needed all those different groupings?
And I'm actually with you on that. I mean, when you do this, doesn't it water down the significance of the title?
Of course it
For example,
does.
let me talk about the other pageant, the Miss Universe. There's only one Miss Universe, right? If all sponsors are dedicated to this one person, right? What's your reason of thinking that, or deciding that you need to separate this Miss World,
Because
into
last we
different
checked,
regions?
it's only one world we have, right?
Exactly.
Unless we all move to Mars. I know Elon Musk
So
tried. I know he tried.
So they changed the Miss World to Miss Region.
Right, So that to me, it did not make sense. And I think the other controversy behind it is like it wasn't stated up front. So while the
Right,
competition is
yes.
going on, everybody thought, okay, I'm just representing, you know, the Caribbean or whatever, and it's going to have one Miss World. No, there's going to be a Miss World and then all these other titles after.
Exactly.
So that didn't make sense to me.
And if it is she, let's say, suppose our representative win, right, Miss Archie, right? Then she would only be representing the Caribbean, right? Then why have her go up against contestants from the United States or Asia or whoever? Was the point of that?
I think it's a whole conspiracy. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, you know, really, but I found this, it did not sit well with me. Right. And it didn't need to be, you know, this big.
You think it's a money-making thing?
Well, I mean, that's what the pageants are about at the end of the day.
I would like to believe it's probably that, you know, the investors or the CEO of this Miss World competition probably, she probably thought about, you know, how could she have more money pumped into it.
Well, then change the name.
Right? And somebody gave her the bright idea. Oh, after they did the research, probably, I'm just saying probably, right? They realized that, you know, people are pumping money because the Americans are not going to pump money into something that doesn't belong to them, right? I don't want to say the Caribbean, right? But the Asia is not going to pump money into something that doesn't belong to them.
Well, then change the entire franchise. I don't think it makes sense calling it Miss World anymore. Again, this is just my opinion. And I think we could do very well having a Miss Caribbean and done. That is just my viewpoint, because who won? Miss Czech Republic.
Right, okay. Right, and I would not want to speak about the CEO's name, but
no,
you know,
we
I'm just speculating. I'm not saying that this was her train of thought. I don't know what it is how bright idea she came up with at 6 o'clock in the morning, sipping her coffee.
Well, as you said, it could be an economic. You know, that has to be the driver.
Because at the end of the day, this is business.
Yeah,
nobody
money talks.
goes into anything
Just for the fun of it.
exactly.
Right?
You know, so yeah.
So again, congratulations to Miss Ashe. I was really impressed. Again, being on such, I could just imagine being in India, being in such a large space, and you know, and being so young too, because she's only 24, and to hold her ground. I mean, I was very much impressed by that.
Yeah, and you know, I endorse, you know, these pageants because it allows different countries to represent themselves through their whoever individual they choose, you know. And I think that a pageant like Miss World, and this is where I'm kind of to and fro with the whole breaking up, is because, right, I think what it represented was that no matter your background, no matter what country, that you can shine, right? And not just shine to your own peers. The whole thing about it was to, you know, to promote you internationally, not just regionally, you know, and I feel it to me personally, I feel it dominated down a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I believe so as well. I may have a different viewpoint in terms of pageants. I don't know how relevant they are, given our space.
Well,
and culture and whatnot.
We have
you
the
know.
space, so let's hear you.
No, I mean, I see the benefits to the young women that participate in terms of, you know, it's not just, okay, previous pageants, oh, it just looks. No, it's the full package, and they do get scholarships.
Right.
And, you know, you could go off into different fields. I get that. But I just have a little issue with seeing, you know, women paraded around in all these costumes and different swimwear. I just wonder how relevant is that today, given, you know,
understandable,
you know, the different things we're trying to do
and then
collectively as women.
It may inadvertently paint an image that you have to look a particular way, or you have to speak a particular way in order to, for the world to see you. And then there are a lot of, the majority of women I mean, not everybody could be Miss Wendy Fitzwilliams or Miss Commission, you know. So I hear you with that. I hear you with that.
I love to see more diversity in these pageants.
Yes.
It cannot be the same European,
Right.
Caucasian type. You want to see diversity. As we said, it's Miss World. It's show the world as it really is. So that's my take on it.
Okay, okay. So, folks, we're actually going to going to view a little clip about our Miss World, talk about Trinidad and Tobago, right, and to show that she really did represent our country well. Right, so we're going on next. So that was a short clip of our representative, right, Miss Achi, right, at the Miss World competition. As you can clearly see, she represented us well. Beautiful young lady, right? Very well spoken. Yeah. Right. So, I really do hope that they don't. I really hope that some investor talk some sense, because I mean, yeah, I honestly think it might take away, right?
Yeah.
Now this is my unprofessional, right? I mean, I'm not there. I'm not a pageant host. I don't know what their mindset was, right? But I really think it would take away from the what makes Miss World Miss World. You know, no?
Yeah.
Right? For example, how am I Miss World Caribbean? How can I be Miss World America? You know?
And again, I think that is something that should have been decided upfront.
Right. Yeah.
Not coming down to the end to cause all this bacchanal and confusion. So we could have done without that.
Right. So let's move on to. I wanted to touch on this KFC thing here, but I honestly find, I honestly find that KFC getting too much advertising.
Oh dear.
Right? And whether it be good or bad, the more people talk about them, is the more money they're making. Right? You know, do you eat?
Well, Jevon, I was just about to say I boycotted KFC long time.
Well, good. So
I think after the pandemic, like when we had our second lockdown and I could not get my munch pack, when I finally got it, I almost got food poisoning. I was like, never again.
Right. And after the pandemic, when I ate KFC, what happened to me, it wouldn't be proper to say on air. But yeah, I am past promoting these people. So, right?
But I mean, I am glad that we're boycotting.
Oh. We will get to that back in a bit. So, folks, right, we're going to another break, right? And when we come back, we're going to hear why Miss Camille is happy that we are boycotting, right? We'll be back in a few seconds, folks. Stay tuned.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums. Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children. You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say Sadhgurus.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why you pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word. It's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
Welcome back, folks, and I would like to give us a little plug again. We are Sunset on Plus. We are on every day from 6 to 7 p.m. We are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are on Tego TV. So, Miss Camille, KFC, right? We hit our nerve. Let me hear.
Well, like I said before we went to the break, I have been boycotting KFC long time, since the pandemic.
Right.
All right. So I was just interested, or excited in a way that, okay, the rest of the island getting in on
Okay,
this.
and with that being said, let's go to a clip, right, that that we had on the...
Yeah, we should have a clip coming up.
Right, yeah, this clip is about the KFC Independence Square.
Yes,
right,
that's
where they
their
had
main.
banners.
That's the main
Yeah.
money maker.
Right, and we know at a point in time they are actually classed as the #1 selling
Yes.
KFC in the world.
Yes, and I believe
Right
that.
here in this small country.
Back in the day, I was there lining up like everybody else, so I get it. But yeah, we'll see. Their time has run out.
So in the midst of this boycott, we saw something that's happening on Independence Square. What is it? Is this right? Is this people finally realizing, people uprising? Because in other countries, you would see when they raise fuel prices that people will park the cars on the road and walk home, right? Is this the start of, and as you can see, this is the clip, right, with the banner, right? Is this the start of people actually standing up and realizing that they have power?
Well, Jevon, I would like to believe so. But looking from this clip, it looks like KFC trying to bring us back.
Right.
They're trying to bring us back home.
Right, now, are they doing this because they finally realize that they have lost the respect
It could be a desperate attempt on their
and the confidence of the population?
I believe so. Because, let's face it. Prestige Holdings, we see when they declare their profits, they're not struggling.
Exactly.
So if the issue is minimum wage has gone up, so hence the munch pack has to go up $1. Really, I don't understand the math's not mathsing for me, right?
When I started smile, what does be going through my head, right? Right, and I like how you say that Prestige Holdings has proclaimed, because I think by law they have to, that they are making profits, right? When last you heard, I haven't, that Prestige Holdings, right, did any charity event or sponsorship or anything
I think it's been a while. I'm not saying that they're not a good corporate sponsor. I'm sure they have been. But when you see, look, let's face it, minimum wage hasn't been raised in this country for quite some time, right? And you have the majority of your workers being paid, right? You cannot tell me no by paying them, you have to offset your costs. The consumer now has to foot the bill. Why?
So in other words, so
That should
basically,
not be the case.
so what they're saying is that, right?
They're not
willing to lose. They're not willing to lose.
No,
so,
they're not losing.
right? And this is just, now we all know Prestige Holdings is just one entity, right? And unfortunately, because of certain events, this is just one entity that is highlighted. Who's to say that this is not happening across the other?
That's true, you know. But if Trinis are actually boycotting and we're using our consumer power, as it were, I say all kudos to us. It's about time.
Right. And put yourself, you're a customer, right? They're raising the prices, right? You said you haven't been there for a while.
Yeah, I made that conscious decision.
But I'm sure you have friends.
Yeah, that's still partake.
When last you hear that? Well, let's talk about the customer service.
Oh boy, look where you're going.
Because
Oh,
and they boast, right? And they actually boast that they actually spend money to train their employees, right? I've actually spoken to past employees from Prestige that actually says yes, they would send you on a course, they would give you a stipend, and they train you to.
But is that being reflected when they're dealing with the public?
Exactly. And my question is, after that training, and you go out to deal with the public, right?
What happens next?
Exactly. And are there any kind of repercussions for not following the procedure?
And let us face it, depending on which area you're from or you're going to purchase your KFC, the customer service will vary.
Okay.
All right? So, you know, we know it. I don't have to call the areas on our lovely Twin Island.
I want to bring back the hot oil scenario.
Right? So you get that variance to start. And then you're telling me you can't pay your workers what is due to them. And to offset that now, I have to pay that extra for this munch pack or whatever dinner special you want to be giving me?
Right.
No.
But
So the price high and the service bad.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of Trinidadians are willing to pay where they get good service. I mean, there was an incident recently where a bottle was pelted at a customer, right?
That they captured.
Yeah.
What about all the incidences in the past that nobody pulled out their phone in time to capture?
Exactly.
You know?
Right?
So,
And I mean, you know?
as I say, you know, it doesn't affect me anymore. I'm no longer, you know, a consumer. All right. But if this is the route that we're taking, I hope KFC is just the start, because we're seeing prices going up nationwide, and it's like everything is like, well, you know, and we just sit down and take it.
I would love to see the next time gas prices rise.
Oh boy.
Right? People come out of the cars on the highway and they travel. Right? I would love to see, right, unfortunately, and I mean I feel it for the market vendors and stuff like that, because we all know they are subjected to the elements.
Correct.
Right? Right? Oh, we have. Right, we actually have the video.
We do have the video.
We actually do. We have the video of the bottle pelted right now.
Oh,
so,
we do. Oh boy.
Right? No, so are these the well-trained personnel that our prestige holding put out?
You see what I'm talking
right?
about?
And at the end of the day, this is what the public, and this is just one incident. Right? Now, I'm not trying to bash the company, because rightfully said, I know people work there and they are correct. They spend money, they train their personnel and stuff like that. But my question is, right, this is just one video. When these videos come out, right, have did they post a statement after this apologizing to the customers and who was there to have to go through this?
And you know, strange enough, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I could look at the workers, I could look at their side of it too. It's not easy to be in a profession as a customer service representative. It's not an easy thing dealing with our public.
Correct.
Right? So looking at the conditions, on top of, your salary is not great.
Okay.
We don't know what shift, how long, if they were working a double shift. You're near to the fryer, everything. It could have been a culmination of, I've had enough. That's what I get sometimes when I look at these videos. It's like someone doesn't just wake up one day and decide, I'm going to pelt a bottle at any customer. It's like a series of unfortunate events.
But I don't think that justifies the
No,
behavior.
it doesn't.
Because at the end of the day,
No, it
when you are
doesn't.
working in the public sector, right? I mean, we all work in the public sector, right? I cannot, because I wake up and I have problems home, and I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or for my supervisor or my boss shout down in my ears. I can't take it on the customer, because at the end of the day, the customer, and customer service is something that is a big issue in Trinidad.
We know this.
Right? It is a big issue in Trinidad. Right? I can remember there was an incident, I was watching a video where this radio personality, he went to this supposedly Chinese restaurant, right? And he ordered his food, and he was supposed to pick it up at a particular time, right? He reached, it was late, he waited, and when he asked questions, the owner of the establishment started to bash him.
Oh, for picking up his order late?
Right? Because he started the question, well, and he's right. Hey, I ordered my food. You all told me to come at a particular time, right? It's stuff late. And I'm asking now, and he's giving me attitude.
Yeah.
You know? And he actually pulled out his phone, and he had a video. And in the video, all he wanted to do, all he wanted from the owner, because she was, apparently, according to the video, she was the owner, to apologize. And she refused. The workers, right? Even you saw the worker say, just apologize, and she is so adamant that
Wrong and strong.
exactly. So is this the culture?
I think we
of
could do
these
better. We could do
establishments?
better. We know we can do better.
But at what point?
Yeah.
Right? Will they do better if it is us, the citizens, keep just taking it and staying quiet?
Seeing this, if we continue with this boycott, if it really, as they say, hit them or hurt them where it hurts, right? If we decide, okay, we're doing this across all the branches, then that could be a wake-up call for them.
Okay.
Probably that's something they need.
Okay, nice. So, did you hear about the bacchanal today with Wassa?
Who did it?
And
Who didn't get water?
I want to say it Wassa. I want to say it like the man who be selling water. You know, people are water! Right? You want to hear the bacchanal with Wassa?
Let me hear the baccarat.
Right? So, apparently some people get suspended for alleged racket.
Oh, really?
That's going on.
At our state agency?
Right? But yeah, right? A lot of people saying, okay, well, they now catch on to the racket that has been going on for years. Right? Right? But we'll get back to that in a little bit because, we have to go to a break.
Yes, break.
Right? And, right? Folks, we really need to pay our bills. So I know when we talk get nice, we just had to go, but stay tuned, hold on to your seat, run and use the toilet, take a drink of water, or take a drink, right? And we'll be back in a couple of seconds.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in the school curriculums.
Yes.
Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? That is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say Sadhgurus.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why.
Yeah.
You pursue that in the first place.
First book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word, it's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
And we're back, folks. And we mentioned the whole scenario before we left, right? And based on reports, apparently there was a protest that happened recently that brought light to certain things that actually may be happening a while ago, which was the protest in Kinahan Trees in Chin Chin Road. Right, due to the disruption of water supply, right? And basically, what people are saying is that they're not getting water, right? And these certain trucks are charging people sometimes $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 to get truck-borne water, what supposedly supposed to be free. Right? Did you hear about that?
Well, so I have to say, I did not hear this particular incident, but we've known in the past, or there have been rumors, I should say, of there's always a racket.
Right.
Because we know once you're getting water from WASA or any agents that work for them, it's supposed to be free.
Right.
But obviously, they're preying on poor people again. Desperate people. Because because you see what's going on now. You don't have water for weeks on end. Yes, if you tell me 2,000, I will pay it.
So if you look at the screen, you know, this is actually the protest. And what brought what was brought to my attention is that the minister actually made a statement, right? And he basically saying that they actually did a program recently where they tried to improve the water in particular areas. And they don't understand why is it that after the program, well, I'm not too sure if it completed, but the program is going on, but these particular areas, why is it that the truck-borne water supply has not reduced, right? And what he said is that this is what led him to look at particular things, and this is what led to these three individuals. One was a manager and two were senior people to be suspended. Now, they are suspended with pay, as far as I understand. I personally find
well,
they shouldn't.
You know, we can't speak to whatever their collective agreement once they're having investigations. You know,
I understand that is illegal.
That is illegal.
Right.
Right?
But this is something that there have reports that has been going on a while. Right? I mean, come on. It's poor people.
It's people in need, and we should not be having these issues on this island. As someone said, it's 2024. It's not 1954. We should not be having issues with water.
Let me go back a little further, right? These are areas that are, I don't like to use the word poor, but they are restricted from certain things, right? When it is, let's put ourselves in this. You have to run a household. You have children, right? Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 in a household, right? And a simple thing as water. Right? You can't get, and you have to find $1,000, $1,500, $2,000.
I mean, that's
What are you going to do to get that?
listen.
Because it is a necessity. It's not that. It's not that. Is that Jordan?
As someone says, it's our right. And you cannot tell me in a developed country like ours, we still have these issues.
And yet still, right? I have this law, right? That they catch you with a hose, they're charging you $75.
Why I feel like this is a
Right?
touchy subject?
No,
with you,
it's
Jevon?
not. It's not. You know, I just wanted to put that there.
Right, we have these
right?
restrictions because we're in a dry season.
Right. You have people paying $2,000 for a truck, one water supply, supposed to be for free, but yet still on top of that, all you know it
Yes.
happening, and they still want to charge
Well-
people for using our hose to wash down their yard.
But what do you
Right,
find
that
is?
might
The
be
fine is
dirty.
minimal. It's $75. But I mean, these are coming back to this with these employees, right? No, coming back to this.
$75. $75. Spend it correctly
I
can
know.
feed a
I
family
know.
of three for
Agreed.
3 days.
Agreed. No, but I was just to tie in that point. These are the three that they know of, that this investigation. I'm sure there are others.
Why they don't and they want from today I heard that they want to ask the TTPS to assist the Wassa police into charging these people, and then when they see them, why don't they ask investigators to help investigate the corruption?
Because I
within.
suspect it probably goes all the way up, as you know how corruption goes. You know, you
Remember the
grease
last
my
time?
palm,
Remember the
I
last
grease
time? Remember the
yours.
last time they did a big probe, right? A certain building, not too far from here, but down.
Yeah, I remember that. They ever found out how that just caught a blaze
No.
like that? And
No,
important papers
we
just went missing.
we just spent us some money to investigate, and nothing came out of it like everything else, right? But anyway,
boy.
right? If I go into that too much, they'll say I'm going political.
And this is not a political program. I repeat,
is
it
not.
is not
It is
a
not.
political program.
Right? Right. So moving on. Now, this is a touchy subject, right? And I will try not to speak too much into it until we get more information. But I want to talk about the skeletal remains that was found in the shallow grave, right, in a family backyard. A missing family member that was never reported. Right? What is this going on in this country?
I don't know.
Right? I mean, how? I'm lost for words. How? How? Right? It's not a strange. How? This is your own.
So that is it. So you're thinking crime. We always think, okay, it's the criminals or someone out there. This is someone's family. Persons who are supposed to protect you from the criminals, right? But here we have some, and I mean, like I said, we only got this report. It's breaking right now, so they're still investigating. But from the report, it said that a relative tipped off the police, and that's how they were able to go to this home in Valsane.
And the whole story behind that is that how the relative got the opportunity to tip off, because apparently based on reports, it's alleged that this person was quote unquote kept captive for a while.
So, you keep thinking your neighbors, how long time you always say a village will look out, will help raise children, just think your neighbor is having this sort of, because the newspapers likened it to a Jim Jones kind of commune.
Exactly, yeah.
Right? So you're telling me 9 or how many children held captive in this home, and no one is hearing any screams, because it's not just a matter they held prisoner. We don't know what other mistreatment they would have gone through. And then this murder, buried a body, and it's just business as usual.
Exactly. Nobody.
Life goes on.
Nobody saw anything different, right? Now we don't know, because it is still investigating. We don't know. It might not have been that it was a violent, right? And I don't want to say that, I don't want to overspeak and say that it was a murder, but when you read the story, the evidence, everything that's, how could you not report an 18-year-old missing, a family member?
Unless you're part of the
and
crime.
then
You did it.
they found the body in a shallow grave in
your
your backyard.
backyard.
I mean,
I know. I really, when you hear these stories, it
These are
shudder to
things-
think that this is where Trinidad and Tobago is
what?
going.
I mean, it opened up my eyes a lot because, I mean, this is what happened in our country.
Yeah.
These are things that you would look at. These are things that I would look at on the internet and say, thank God I live in Trinidad where,
Yeah.
you know?
You know, it sounds like if it's a Dateline report, something you hear in America, you know, all these mass murders and shit. And here you have, you know, they never reported her missing, right? So no one knew. They just quietly did what they had to do, bury her body.
I wonder if the other family members were at least detained, because I mean the report doesn't say so, but I would like to believe in an investigation that is as serious as this, that you know all family members involved would at least be detained for questioning,
I
right?
wanna
And a
believe
proper
so.
search, because for something as heinous as this to happen, I honestly don't think it's the first time.
And that's a scary thought.
Right?
That is
Now,
scary.
could it be that it was done out of fear?
Or
You
it
know,
could
something
be in a
had
case,
happened.
It could have been a case of
dispute,
abuse.
or it could have been a dispute. Family
Dispute.
member to family
Okay.
member, and you know Trinidadians, you know things get heated. Somebody get a bad blow, right? And people panic, and it was decided that they're going to keep this thing up under wraps. Now I'm just making.
Right.
You know,
I mean, I have my guess, and I'm thinking it's abuse, based on you know other.
Well, based
If
on
on
yes,
what's the
right?
other
Because,
children,
for
whoever
example,
else held prisoner there, we don't
Yeah.
know, and then they just decided, okay, enough is enough, and we just quietly get rid of.
Yeah, but let's. I think the best thing would be to wait until the investigation is over. You know,
And then we could
for
speak
us to.
more about it,
But
correct.
I shudder to think that you know these are things that is. I mean, we hear about you know family sexually abusing family, you know stuff like that. But for it to reach the point where a family member is killed and buried,
Yeah.
and it's like,
And no one saw. A neighborhood,
You know?
nothing.
right? So, right. So, folks, we'll go into a break. We'll be back in a little bit. I want you to remember that we are here on Plus. I'm always going to be pushing this plug. Plus, we are the next big thing. We are coming. We are rising, right? Unlike, this is the Sunset Show, but this is the Rising Sunset Show, right? Matai Tong. Sunset Show, Rising Sunset Show. Right? And we'll be back in a few.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Mata. Give us some insight into what is Miss Earth and what is so special about this pageant.
Okay, so like many pageants, there are a purpose behind the crown. So Miss Earth in particular, it's all about the awareness of the environment, and I'm basically an ambassador informing everyone to take care of their environment and their surroundings.
Take this moment, guys, to advocate the importance of mental health awareness, ensuring that this is something that is started to be placed in schools, in these school curriculums. Why aren't we having easy therapy access to schools, to parents, to the children? You know, that is something that we need to get some hands written about, right?
My name is Jesse McBarrow, and you are looking at Mending Minds. Tell us your Mending Mind moment.
I will say set goals.
A lot of people get so caught up in the what, they forget the why. There's this fixation of this is what I'm going to do, and they forget why. You know, you pursue that in the first place.
first book in the Bible is a book you've probably heard of. It's called Genesis.
Genesis comes from a Hebrew word, it's pronounced reshit, and it just means beginning.
Now, there's a lot of stories from the book of Genesis, and it's easy just to pull out a specific story and try to tell you what it might mean. But we think the best way to understand this book is to look at the book as a whole and show you how the whole thing is designed.
And folks, we're back, and this is where, unfortunately, we have to close off our evening show.
Yes.
Right? They only given us an hour, right? So we just had to touch on stuff. They ain't ready to give us more time, but we'll get more time soon. Don't worry, right? So, right. So just to wrap up, right? To all our Muslim brothers and sisters, we'd like to say again, Ramadan Mubarak to all, right? Right, we do hope that in this time that you gain everything that you sought to gain in this time of fast and prayer.
Correct.
Right.
Again, we want to say congratulations to our own Miss World TNT.
Yes, yeah, Miss
Ashley Abrams.
Yes, she represented us
well.
Right, and in a time where a lot of people misrepresent us. Right,
She held her own.
because I can remember there was some video before recently with another representative for a particular pageant that I didn't know nothing
Oh
about.
gosh, look where we had to leave that for another time, Jevon,
And
another
this-
time.
they ask one question and they talk about something totally different. So yeah, maybe
that's
so
another
it
time.
is nice that this time we really was. I mean,
She did us proud.
yes. She
Have
really,
no complaints.
You know, there's no doubt that she will be endorsed in the future.
I believe so.
Right, KFC, yeah.
Yeah.
We pass on our shit. Yeah. Enough of it.
Laters. Laters for KFC.
Right? Wasa,
Do better.
Yes.
Do better.
Do better. Right? And again, we will talk more on this topic as we get more news. Right? Right on it. That is the skeleton.
The skeleton remains.
Right?
Yes.
And with that, folks, this is us, the 12th of March, 2024. We are saying good night.
Night.
This is another episode of Life Matters, and I am your host, Latina Matter. Give us some insight